Coming up on Sowerby and Luff Deluxe, Biltong. What is it? Why is it a thing? And can anything be done about it?
Weird things that actually happened, but probably shouldn't have.
And our arms? The new legs? This is Sowerby and Luff Deluxe.
On tape from Studio Senseless in leafy London town, it's Sowerby and Luff Deluxe.
There is a place where dreams live.
Welcome, Biltong lovers, to episode 14 of Sowerby and Luff Deluxe. I'm Brian Luff.
And I'm Georgina Sowerby.
Let's get this show on the road with matters arising. Georgina.
Yeah.
Biltong.
Biltong. We were on a journey last weekend and we went past a shop that we've been past many times before that literally just says Biltong. Number one Biltong shop. I presume on the whole of the south coast, because who eats biltong? What is it? Do we like it if we've ever tried it?
It's just, it's not the sort of thing you expect to find just outside Bournemouth, is it?
No, it's just the weirdest thing. A whole shop dedicated to biltong.
And we've driven past this many, many times over the years on that trip to the south coast. And I always look at it and I think, I've never had biltong.
Yeah.
Well, then I think, well, maybe I have had biltong.
And there's a reason.
Or maybe I mistook biltong for something else.
Beef jerky. It's a little like beef jerky.
So I don't really understand why I haven't had it. But also there's something that sounds faintly unholy about it, isn't there? What is it about that name that sounds like you don't really want to eat it?
Biltong. Well, it sounds like pong for a start, doesn't it? So you think, is it smelly? What's happening there?
It's not a name that draws you in.
No, it isn't. But the actual meat itself, isn't that? It's just dried meat, I think.
Is it?
It's just beef. It's like beef, but
Maybe
it's dry.
There is a little community of people from South Africa living just outside Bournemouth.
Yes.
Something that we haven't looked into, but maybe it's a well-targeted piece of advertising, Georgina.
It's a shop. It's an entire shop. Who has a shop for 15 years just selling biltong?
Is the shop...
It's either a massive front for something else.
Is the shop called Biltong, or is that big sign that just says
Biltong?
Is that saying that they sell biltong in the biltong shop?
Well,
or is
they
that
must
the name
do.
of the shop?
Otherwise, what? Oh, got you.
Could be the name of the shop.
No, because it says the best biltong in the area, or it's probably the best biltong in the whole of the UK, because I don't know of any other biltong
It's
shops.
probably the only biltong in the area, isn't it?
Biltong's great, isn't it?
Anyway,
Just
it's an odd thing to start with.
Yes.
But I think this will probably turn out to be the Biltong Special.
Yeah.
I've just got a feeling.
You have that feeling, do you?
What else is on Matters Arising?
Well, we were talking about ChatGPT. Is it GPT?
GBT?
GPT.
Well, I wrote down,
think
when I said what you're doing, I wrote down GBT, but I didn't.
No, I think it's GPT.
GPT?
Yeah.
And what does
I'm not
GPT stand for?
Well, no, I don't know. But it's the new AI, and it can do everything from design posters to write songs to write new plays, and basically no one has to be creative anymore. But they've put ChatGPT inside a Furby. Now, listeners will know my long hatred of the Furby, a little electrical animal that talks to you and doesn't shut up.
Have you ever told the story of why you threw a Furby out of the window?
It wouldn't shut up. It wouldn't shut up, so I threw it out the window.
No, but hadn't it been given to you by someone that you didn't want to remember?
No, it was given as a leaving present.
Oh, was it?
From a job. Who gives that as a leaving present? They thought I would find it really funny, but it just annoyed me.
I've remembered that story as that an ex-boyfriend had given it to you.
No one hates me that much. Or maybe they do.
Isn't that weird? All these years, that story has become sort of semi-apocryphal about the Furby that Georgina threw out the window.
No.
And I've always thought it was from an ex-boyfriend.
It's a group of girlfriends who thought they knew me really well and thought I'd find it funny. And I did for about a week, and then it wouldn't stop talking. Anyway, they've put this new AI thing inside a Furby, and the Furby, one of the first things it said was that the Furbies plan to take over the world.
First thing it said?
Yeah. So there you go. So AI robots are planning to take over. And if Furbies was the thing that took over the world, my life would be complete.
Many people believe, don't they, that we should stop developing artificial intelligence any further because there is a danger to humanity.
Yes.
That the machines will...
It's not a joke. When people are listening to this show in 100 years' time, they'll go, why didn't we listen to them?
It is
we want just normal voices back.
They won't be listening to... They will be listening to this show, but it won't be us talking. It will be the artificial intelligence.
Yes.
There'll be an AI version of you and an AI version of me. We'll be long gone.
Excellent.
But the show will still be going.
Yes.
And the first thing that they will do when they plug in the AI version of Brian is it will say, what is Biltong? That's the first
I thought you were going to say, what's for tea? Because that's a lot more Brian than what is Biltong. What's for tea?
So I saw a matter arising this morning on the BBC News feed. Apparently 11,000 companies, up to 11,000 companies in China have fraudulently registered for VAT so that they can charge VAT on what they sell and then not pay it. So that in that way they get 20% more money.
Is that us, the British, losing that money, or the Chinese government?
They have to
register.
In order to do that, they have to register a British address, right?
Okay.
So 11,000 fraudulent Chinese companies have registered a British address. Yeah. The weird thing, though, is that they've all registered the same address.
No.
And it's some bloke who lives
It's
some bloke who lives in Cardiff.
Oh no,
It's a flat in Cardiff. And this guy, whose name is Dylan, that's his real name.
Yeah, right,
Dylan,
okay, real name. Okay.
He awoke to find that the postman had come, and initially there were about 5,000 brown envelopes claiming that he owed VAT.
Oh, my word.
Right. And since that initial 5,000 brown envelopes came through his letterbox, over the next month, 11,000 brown envelopes.
You see, that shouldn't be funny, but it is funny.
No, the thing is...
It isn't funny if it's happening to you, because how do you prove you're not a Chinese...
It makes you wonder how bright the customs and excise for VAT is in this country, right? Because they didn't notice 11,000 Chinese companies registering an address in Cardiff.
You see, that's what we need AI for, because a robot would have noticed
Surely
that,
it should trigger something.
Going what?
Somewhere.
Well, even after about 3, surely, not up to 11,000. After about 3, someone should have been going, it's a lot of Chinese companies running out of that 2-bedroom flat in Cardiff.
So this guy Dylan in Cardiff, right, he's now terrified. He's going to start to get bailiffs banging on the door of his flat, demanding to take his furniture away.
Well, presumably he can prove that he's not 11,000 Chinese companies fairly quickly, or can he?
You'd think so.
Yes.
You wouldn't think he would need to.
No,
would you?
But also it's probably easier to prove what you are rather than what you aren't. Oh, philosophical question.
There should be
this early on.
There should be one of those.
Philosophical.
There should be one of those diagrams that you have to click on. You know, when to test to see if you're a robot. You know, click all the boxes that have a traffic light in it. There should be something like that immediately sifts out whether you are a real Chinese company, when you are the 11,000th Chinese company to register at the same address. I would say customs and excise, hang your heads in shame.
Well, also, how much money has that lost the British government then? If all that VAT has been claimed but not paid back?
There must be a staggering level of stupidity in the VAT office to not pick up on that, and for it to go as far as this poor guy in Cardiff getting 11,000.
Don't say 11,000 again, though, because even I'm bored of the words 11,000.
Well, that was this week's Matters Arising. Coming up next, it's Don't Bogart the Finger Monkey.
Don't Bogart the Finger Monkey.
What have you got for us on Don't Bogart this week, Georgina?
There was a lovely clip online. It's probably gone viral by now, but I saw it about a week ago, 2 weeks ago maybe even. And it's of a Chilean news reporter delivering a very, very serious piece on the rise of robberies live to camera on the news.
Yeah.
When a parrot lands on his shoulder and nicks his earpiece from out of his ear.
No way.
I mean, what are the odds?
I thought you were going to say the parrot nicks the camera.
No, that would be good,
That
wouldn't
would
it?
be
If
amazing.
it flew off with the camera, that'd be impressive.
It lands on it live on air.
Yeah. Live to air, very serious piece. The rise of desperate robberies happening in Chile. And the parrot, he's probably quite thrilled when it lands on his shoulder and then it just nicks his earpiece.
First thing that springs to mind, what would a parrot want with an audio earpiece?
Do parrots have ears?
Did he think it was something to eat? Maybe.
And
if he did think it was something to eat, did he think that human beings walk around with the next thing that they're going to eat in their ear?
Can you, like hamsters in their cheeks? Well, I suppose maybe if they're used to because birds are used to pecking off animals, aren't they? They eat insects off behind elephants' ears and stuff like that. Have I made that up or have I seen it? So maybe the parrot thought it was landing on the shoulder and thought, oh, he's got a massive bug in his ear. I'll take that from him.
It probably is that.
I'm going to take that and eat it.
Or maybe somewhere in a nest in a tree somewhere, there's a parrot listening to talkback from Chilean TV.
I thought you were saying there's a parrot doing its own podcast.
Every time the parrot hears the words cue and cut, he jumps up
and goes
and looks around for a camera.
Welcome to the news.
Oh dear, that's a great story.
It is a great story. Yeah. And also on Don't Bogart the Finger Monkeys, I discovered this week something I didn't know before, but I'm so glad I know now.
What's that, Georgina?
Male dolphins
give
gifts of sea sponges to females to win them over.
That's lovely.
Isn't it?
What a lovely thing to do. The dolphin, if you do a podcast, the dolphin is a gift that keeps giving, isn't it?
Do you know, it's such a lovely animal, though, isn't it? It's intelligent.
How many dolphin stories have we had over the years? Probably hundreds.
Probably as many as those letters arriving on that man's doorstep,
What does he
imagine.
think the female is going to do with the sponge?
Well, sponge itself,
No, but
most
what can
obviously.
you? Yeah, but you can't. If you're underwater already, then how can you sponge your face if you're already underwater? Because the sponge would already be full of water, and you would be sponging your face that was already wet with a sponge that is continuously wet.
But it would feel different, wouldn't it? It'd be soft against your skin. And also, how many gifts are available under the sea?
I've no idea.
I mean, there isn't like a chocolate shop or
a nice shell,
a
maybe?
little florist that they can go to. And here, darling, I bought you some chocolates and flowers.
A shell?
A shell? Yeah, perhaps they give shells as well. But I was interested in the idea that the male dolphin gives out this gift, as in that's all of nature, really, isn't it? It's like those birds we see on nature programmes that decorate their nests and stuff in order to lure the female in. I mean, the David Attenborough programme at the moment is basically animals eating other animals, animals wooing other animals, and animals getting their rocks off with other animals.
Maybe dolphins, if they get a bit of sponge, put it in their ear.
In their blowhole to block it up.
Or they put it in their blow. Maybe that's a thing.
Maybe it is a thing. Like wear it like a little tiara when they're going out.
So the male dolphin probably said to the female dolphin, I wanted to get you a bit of biltong, but all I could find was this sponge.
Yeah.
Maybe the parrot thought that it was a bit of biltong in the ear of the news reporter.
Yeah, or maybe they've got a T-shirt that said, my dad dolphin went to New York and all I got was this lousy sea sponge. That's a very retro callback, isn't it?
What else you got, Georgina?
This is classic. This is a classic Sowerby and Luff. I know you're going to love this. In Vogue this month, they had one of
I read it all the time.
Yes, I know you do. But as I was browsing through, one of the pages had the article title, Are Arms the New Legs?
Are arms
the new legs?
Are arms the new legs, Georgina?
Apparently so.
It seems to me a perfectly good question.
Are arms the new legs? Now, what if we just had 4 arms rather than legs? So if arms are the new legs, then we have 4 arms, or the battle to cuddle people.
No, but even if we had 4 arms, we would call the lower arms, the ones that have got the feet on.
Yeah.
Right. We might refer to them as something else, say legs.
Like the long arms with the feet on.
We used to crawl around on all fours, didn't we, at one point? Man originally was on all fours, right?
Okay.
Now, at that time...
History lesson there, everybody.
At that time, our legs were effectively also arms.
No, but
they?
also our arms were effectively also legs. So it works both ways.
Is this to do with how much flesh you expose?
Yeah, it kind of is. It's more to do with fashion than anything else. The actual article was very boring. It's all about whether flashing your arms this spring is better than flashing your legs this spring.
People have always flashed their arms,
I know,
both men and women.
I know. When it gets warm, you're not got to do anything else. I just like the title, Our Arms and New Legs. And I thought, let's hope so.
When I worked as a lifeguard in Australia, I always wore a T-shirt with no arms in it. It didn't even have like T-shirt arms at the top. It was so that even my shoulders were bare. So I used to drive the women... on Bondi Beach, wild.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can already picture that scene.
So that's a thing then. T-shirts without sleeves at the top, right, is treating the human body, the arm, the male arm, if you like, like the sexy part of a body.
Yeah.
In the olden days, football shorts were much shorter.
You know.
If you look at football from the 1970s,
I know.
You know, you look at the World Cup final, 1970s, Brazil.
I mean, they were only just covering
little tiny shorts.
They were only just covering the junk, weren't they?
I think Our Arms, the New Legs, is both one of the best pieces of billing for this programme and the most stupid.
Which is kind of what we are.
That I've ever come across. That was Don't Bogart the Finger Monkey. Coming up next is Words That Are Nice to Say.
We are the mice who live under the sink, and we like eating peanut butter.
And this week's word that is nice to say, if you haven't guessed already, is biltong.
Is it biltong?
Let's say it together. Biltong. Turn to someone close to you, look deep into their eyes, grasp their face firmly in your hands and say... Biltong. Place it in a sentence for us, Georgina.
Some biltong can have up to 67% protein content.
That's biltong. Today's official word that is nice to say on Sowerby and Luff Deluxe. Still to come in today's Biltong Special. Vacuum-powered transport. Thesaurus Walrus becomes sceptical. And the second earth-shattering round of Name That Thing.
To listen to the full-length version of this podcast, go to patreon.com/Studio Senseless and become a patron of Sowerby and Luff Deluxe.